Thanks for stopping by, guys, and welcome back to Scrap Mechanic. Now today we're going to be looking at another main battle tank design, this one being the MBT Mark 31. Technically we're looking at two designs, but for the most part they are identical vehicles, just with some modifications to the turret and gun. That would be the Mark 31.9, aka the Cobra, and the Mark 31.10, also known as the Viper. These two were built as compact light tanks, just simply something that can produce firepower on the front lines, be a really hard target to hit. Now, this one, as you can tell, has a 3 tall turret, which is, I think, the first tank that I've made with a 3 tall turret, and this is a 2 tall turret, which is mostly experimental, but I do see some practical use with 2 tall turrets. Also, it looks really cool. Hello, Sprint. You're the second person to join me while recording. Okay, with that out of the way, I'm going to be taking a look at the Mark 31.10 first, which is the Viper, which is the shorter one. Now, the major difference being that a full block has been lobbed off the top of the turret, and the gun is set slightly lower into the gun. Now, the reason I'm able to get the 3 block tall turret and the 2 block tall turret is because there is a bearing inside here, which actually lowers the gun anywhere from about half a block to about 3/4 of a block. So even though the gun is technically still above the turret, even on that one it's a little bit above, it looks close enough to look right. And it also gives you some gun depression under the bottom, not underneath. So you can actually aim the gun down a little bit. This version has very little gun depression, yet there is still some, whereas that version, the Cobra, has a little bit more. So, like normal, it has pretty much everything you'd expect it to. Tank steering like I always do. This does have a stabilizer, even though the gun depression does give it some issues. And I do just kind of want to compare the size here to a Wyvern, so you can get an understanding of what I meant by a compact light tank. The Wyvern I consider to be a light tank, however, it could also be considered a medium tank by some people. But as you can see, just a quick size comparison. Let me hop in the Wyvern. You can see that one as well. So, just to get an idea of how small the Viper and the Cobra are. So I'm going to go ahead and back up, and I'm going to get in the Cobra. The Cobra is the one I kind of consider to be the better of the two, just for the protection's sake. Now, even though the rounds are behind the mantlet, and even though there are these little bolts on it, it does protect the rounds quite well, but it's really easy just to get an accidental spud to hit those rounds and set you ablaze. I have been working on some ideas to fix that issue in the future, but for now, we're kind of sticking with this one. So this has the 3 block tall turret, and since it does have a bit more room, there is more gun depression than on the Viper, and is overall, in my opinion, the better of the two versions, just for safety's sake. Let's go ahead and load the rounds. Now, with the turret being shorter, one thing that did change is the position of the aiming machine guns. Normally, the machine guns would be right on top of the turret, dead center, but to try and keep the height down, I moved the guns to the actual center of the gun. Right there, you can see it. Now, there's only one in this version, so there are some... I wouldn't say it's a bad thing, but you do have a little bit slower fire rate. However, the issue caused by this is because the spud gun is in the same line, essentially, as the round. Yes, it technically is more accurate, but as you're firing the machine gun, you could hit a round. I do have a safety mechanism in, so whenever you shoot your main round, it'll temporarily turn off your machine gun. However, it is still possible to hit your main round with a machine gun round, which will do two things. A, it'll ignite it so that it'll explode after so many seconds, and B, it'll knock it off course, sending it God knows where. So if we hit our machine gun, you will notice it is a bit slower. As we fire our main round, You'll notice the machine gun cuts out while I'm firing, but if I fire too quickly, I might be able to get it to hit the main round with a spud. It's a bit rare, but it is still possible, so I'm not a big fan of that aiming position. Another issue caused by this is when you're turning your turret or moving, a lot of times the spud will hit your barrel like this. But it won't do it the other direction. Let's see if we can get the round to get hit by a spud. Nope, unfortunately we did not, and we also caused our machine gun to be firing faster. Interesting. But overall, I'm really happy with it. It fills that niche of being small. It doesn't pack, or I should say it does pack as much firepower as any of my other tanks. But the issue being there is no armor whatsoever on the turret. There is some frontal armor, no side armor at all. So you kind of have a give and take. Honestly, I do kind of prefer the Wyvern over this design because the Wyvern is just a more well-rounded vehicle with a better stabilizer, better aiming system, and better armor. Even though the Wyvern itself is a light to medium armor tank, it can't really take that many hits, but neither can this. So I hope you guys did enjoy. I just kind of wanted to look at a bit of a smaller tank design to see how compact I can make it. And I do have some other plans in the near future. However, I am going to end it here with the Mark 31. This one being the 31.9 Cobra, the other one being the Viper. I am going to end it here, so if you did enjoy, please leave a like. If you have any suggestions, leave them in the comments down below. If you enjoy the channel, enjoy what I'm doing, please subscribe. It helps out a lot. And right now, shares help the channel the most. So if you do want to help the channel, please share this episode with a friend. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for sticking around. And until next time, peace.